Welcome. In this presentation, I'll share my plan for redesigning physical spaces in schools to better meet the needs of today's learners. Physical environment matters more than we can ever realize, and thoughtful changes can be made to make a huge difference. My name is Jake Stevenson, and I look forward to sharing this with you. I chose this topic because I have seen firsthand how physical spaces impact learning and behavior. A well-designed environment can boost engagement, creativity for our students, and inclusion for all of our students. Today's learners are different. It's not like it once was, and they need flexible, supportive spaces to thrive. Historically, schools were built and designed like factories, rows of desks, timed bells, and an emphasis on order and efficiency. This design served an industrial age, but it no longer fits the dynamic needs of a modern education. Our students nowadays and the way the technology has advanced over the years deserve better. Many traditional school designs are not inclusive or collaborative. Narrow hallways, rigid classrooms, and underused outdoor spaces limit the opportunity for engagement and accessibility in our future learners. We must rethink these spaces with all of our learners in mind. In this slide, you'll see some of the sources used to guide this presentation and for this project. Research shows that physical environment significantly affects student focus and engagement. Inclusive designs, flexible seating, and outdoor spaces aren't just nice to have, they are essential for student success and their physical and mental well-being. So when we get into the solution part and we start thinking about rethinking learning spaces, it's essential to think about flexible classrooms with movable furniture, standing desks, and learning pods. These spaces allow for students to work collaboratively with other peers or independently. This is depending on the needs in the classroom in that unit, helping them take ownership of their learning. So now let's go another step further and really get big and imaginative with this. My vision for this project and for schools would be that every school would have resources and accessibility to outdoor spaces and nature spaces. I believe that learning can be done in so many different ways. Outdoor spaces should be an extension of the classroom, not just for a break area. Green spaces, sensory gardens, and inclusive playgrounds can support physical health, creativity, and social emotional development. With these ideas, you need inclusive and an accessible design. Before we talk about these 3 bullet points, I want to bring up that anyone who has been in a school setting and has dealt with a lot of behavior in our students can certainly relate that there are times physical spaces matter and certainly increases behavior. If we have these outdoor and nature spaces and we rethink the learning spaces in general in schools, truly, I do believe by presenting and more inclusive, a more outdoor and nature space, we can limit the amount of behavior and the mental capacity of our students. True equity means designing spaces for every learner, wide hallways, sensory rooms, and visual signage that's clear and understanding where things are at are accessible features to ensure that students with disabilities and big behaviors or diverse backgrounds can feel safe and supported. Another piece to redesigning and rethinking our physical spaces, in addition to outdoor and nature spaces, flexible seating, and learning pods throughout the buildings, let's embrace the technology advances that are happening in education. I really do think it's something that we can lean in on and help us integrate this within our learning to make students more successful. Technology should seamlessly blend into learning spaces. It shouldn't feel forced. Mobile docking stations, marker spaces, and virtual collaboration zones prepare students for the future and create more personalized learning experiences. This will make them successful for the business world. This is how the business world collaborates. This is how they design, think. And so I believe that we should pull this into our elementary and our K-12 settings to allow them to be more prepared for their future in their education and the work field. Continuing on and thinking more about physical space, let's talk about something that we've all were taught when we were kids. First impressions matter. First impressions matter. When you meet somebody for the first time, or the first time that you're introduced to a new professional, colleague, boss, whatever it might be, I truly believe that first impressions matter. So when thinking about that, why don't the entrances of every public school take that in consideration? This is their first time to welcome a family, to welcome a student into a building. We must think about school entryways. They should be welcoming, filled with nature light and student work. It's safe, it's bright, and it shows engaging to provide entrances that set a warming and a positive tone for students, staff, and visitors. I think this is something that we often miss. I also believe that some of the schools, particularly in rural areas, miss the mark on this and have buildings that are designed in maybe the 60s and 70s. Even with an older building, it's time to redesign or rethink the way we think about the entries of buildings to provide this welcoming environment for our students. Thinking about some of these ideas that have been presented, some schools are already implementing, some of them are bigger than that, particularly the nature and the outdoor classrooms that would make it accessible for all classrooms, not just one to schedule. This takes stakeholder involvement, a phased budgeting, and a future-proof design. We do this so often with our athletic facilities, and certainly there is an importance for that because I do believe that athletics can be at times the front porch of a school district. But as we start thinking about future bond issues and who we bring in to redesign and rethink the future of our learners, I do believe we think about the physical space and the impact it can have on our learning. It requires careful planning. It has to be well thought out, but in today's learners, it's a reality that this is essential for success and for these students to move into a successful career and have access to technology, nature spaces, and the well-being of their learning as they prepare themselves for life. So some closing thoughts are that physical space is essential. It profoundly influences student outcomes. Space is the third teacher, some might say, or thoughtful design equals success. Some of the ideas presented in this presentation can be feasible and doable very, very soon for some schools. Some of the ideas are going to have to take futuristic thinking, well-designed thoughts, and a plan that would phase in some of these ideas. If schools throughout the state of Missouri, and really the country for that matter, can start to get on board to really integrate these thoughts and provide support for today's learners, I truly believe that we would see an increase in well-being from a physical and a mental standpoint. I think that we would see more engagement in our students, and our students that are hands-on, that kind of get forced into a traditional day learning or need to fit into a box, are going to thrive. And this will make teachers more successful. This will make students more successful and administrators more successful. Behavior would go down as a result of this. And I believe that is essential and key for the future success of public education. Thank you for listening to my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it.